a love letter to all the nurses by Nurse Ajinsua. Yes. Before I begin, before I go to the next slide, Nurse Ada has already established one of those things I wanted to talk about. I won't just be going into Dear Nurse. I would like to liken it with marriage. Before anyone goes into marriage, you have to start from Nurse Ada's clinic. Go and learn those things you will be experiencing in future. If you go into it blindly, you open your eyes to surprises that you are not prepared for. This is why the book Dear Nurse was written. It's a love letter for you, especially the students, staff nurses, and parents who have children that want to be nurses. About the book. Dear Nurse is an inspirational and an educational book. It was released in April 2023. Lots of copies are being sold and are still selling, and you will still buy. It is written in lucid English language, very simple to explain, simple to comprehend. That's why I say, even if you're not a nurse yet, you can still understand every grammar that was used there, no jargons at all. This book is constantly praised by nurses, student nurses, parents, and what have you. Personally, I have given a lot of my students these books to read, and praises keep coming in from this book. So, Dear Nurse, this book is transformational. The book is about the profession. This book contains a lot of information that you cannot do without. When we talk about the book is transforming, it's about transformation, it's transformational. This book is going to capriciously transformify your life. Yes, don't open your eyes, you will get to understand it. It's going to change the way you see nurses. I'm sorry to say, I'm not a fan of Nollywood because of the things that they have done to us. Yes. They've injured us greatly. When you see Clinic Matters on TV, not TV, you know them. So, Dear Nurse, that is not a nurse. If you can read this book, Dear Nurse, you will understand the difference between a quack and a qualified, registered, and a licensed nurse who has gone through vigorous training and was qualified after writing a book. This is why you need to read the book, Dear Nurse. I don't like to say quack nurse. A nurse is a nurse. A quack is a quack. A quack is not a nurse. A nurse can only be called a nurse. Can you tell me what you're called now? A student, because you're into training, isn't it? And a quack was never trained in a professional organization, so she is not qualified to be called a quack nurse. That name is too prestigious for her. She is a quack, she is a quack. We are nurses. Please put your hands together for now. Let's talk about the profession. This book contains 13 chapters, just 139 pages. I'm a very busy person, and I found it difficult to read this book. But I'm coming to review it. Don't worry, I read it all, cover to cover. Now you might wonder how I read this book. Students always have problem of, we don't have time. When you're still dealing with all those bulky notes. Microbiology, is it bulky? FOM. Those things, you know your type. Those things are bulky things. But what do you do when you're washing your plate? What do you do when you're washing your clothes? What do you do when you're strolling from one hostel to the next? When you have your earpiece on and you have your audio reader books, you can read Dear Nurse in less than 2 hours. I read Dear Nurse on my way to this place all the way from Jos, and then I cannot put my head down in the moving vehicle. I need to put my eyes in front to see what the driver is doing. With my earpiece on, I exhausted the entire book. So you can do same. The profession, nursing is a noble profession. Nobility, I like that, it gives me joy. Nobility is in the heart of the nursing profession, as the very foundation was started by noble people. Florence Nightingale, though she didn't start nursing, but nursing started to get its fame from Florence Nightingale, because she is known as the lady with the... So, Dear Nurse give yourself or give the society something to remember even when you are no more. 205 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Florence Nightingale died, and we are still celebrating her. On Friday, we're going to do a grand celebration for somebody who left us more than 200 years ago. So dearness is about teaching you those things that you need to do to make yourself valuable in the society. In the beginning of this book, it begins with introducing, explaining nursing as a whole, with different stories. I love the captivation of those stories. When we say she used, Nurse Adesua used lucid English, it is clear terms. She used pidgin English for you to understand those things that you use in the hostel to make it look like as you are reading it, you are reading yourself. You're just seeing the reflection of yourself in the mirror. When you read Dear Nurse from the beginning, it's just interesting, bringing you to the introducing part of being a nurse. Before most of you came here, I believe it's not all of us that are nurses today that dreamt of being nurses. You will see in the book that many people do not dream of being nurses. Personally, I wanted to study petroleum engineering. When I went to Port Harcourt, I was asked to bring 300,000 after sitting for JAM, writing JAM, passing JAM, bring 300,000 naira for admission. That was too cumbersome for me to comprehend. I could not just hold all of those things. I came back to Jos, I kept on struggling, I went to Zaria, I wrote JAM, I was too tired. And somebody now said, guys, shortcuts, you did I correct affairs? Yes. The 5 science subjects? Yes. I can go by 4. And as so it's simple, I went to Abuja. Abuja, they are paying nursing students. Your truth carried me to nursing, I will tell you the truth. I went to Abuja, school fees 25,000 naira, monthly allowing 12,000 naira. I will shock my parents when because I will not tell them that part. But the others don't do that. Stealing. Nothing, we don't steal. So I didn't pass the entrance examination. Unfortunately, long truth cut me down. So I came back to Plateau State and then I wrote the exams and I got it. When I was in the profession, when I was in the training, I saw a need. I believe you understand how I here. I saw a need to nursing. I saw a need to calm down and study nursing. Because I discovered that nursing is not about the money, it's not all about the uniform, it's about who you are. If you come out from in the society and you come out elegant, that's why I respect the nursing etiquettes. I respect the nursing ethics. I was listening to nursing anthem and I was looking at how everybody stood here. I loved the legs. Please put your hands together, please. Dear nurse, a lot of people are putting on white in private hospitals, but are all of them nurses? If you're a male nurse, deceased from answering yes when they call you doctor. They call me doctor a lot, and I don't like it. See, the thing irritates me. When you call me a doctor, I'm a nurse. Do you know why it irritates me? It is not because I don't have the brain to study medicine. Personally, I have over 13 medical final year students I am training practically in the hospital. I wanted someone is one of them, but she is on water posting. They go to water boards and then water services to study treatment of water, so she couldn't come. I'm a nurse, but I'm training doctors, isn't it? Exactly, so you can do the same. When you call me a doctor and I answer yes, every glory that the patient has seen that I am doing is given to who? So nurses, what is our work? Vital signs and self-medication. Very soon, that will be collected from teaching hospitals if we don't stand around. So dear nurse, when you study this book, especially chapter 9, I believe a lot of us think nursing is all about these specialties we see in Nigeria. Periop, anesthesia, and all of those small things. I was shocked. See, I've been telling my students, we have over 109, 120 specialties in nursing. I got shocked when I saw that Nurse Adesua was able to bring out 301 specialties in nursing. That's good. Nursing, for me, more than 1 year and 5 months, I've not given injection in the hospital. But I work in the hospital setting. Is it possible? Yes. So as a nurse, am I limited to just giving injections? No. Am I limited to just doing vital signs? No. Am I limited to telling patient relatives, go out, one patient relative by the bedside? Am I limited to telling patients, pay bill? Is that my job? No. Dear nurse, when you study this book, you're going to see a humongous amount of power that you possess as a nurse. Nursing is the bedrock of health. We own health, we are the majority of health, and you're going to see that in this book. If you read Dear Nurse, you'll be surprised at the things you will see. According to my understanding, this book also deals with behaviors and attitudes. A lot of times, let me bring out what people say. Nurse Ada and the MC. I don't know why the MC picked on that nurse. She did it, but something was different from what made her not to smile. Okay, this is something. Nurse Adesua was able to bring out temperament in nursing and attach it to everybody's attributes, behaviors, and attitudes towards practice of this profession or in this profession. Personally, I'm a melchor, that means I'm melancholy and I'm choleric. When Adesua did that, I had to go and study what that thing means. And then I am using it to my advantage. As a melancholy, I study details like mad. So if I'm taking your vital sign we know is TPR and B, isn't it? I want to put pulse, P. We just put our fingers and we do 15 minutes, 50 seconds multiplied by shortcut. Dear nurse, don't do it. Don't do it. I have to now learn the 8 cardinal points to check when I'm checking pulse. Do you know that there are different things you check? Do you know that I can stand strong and tell the physician that this medication will not be suitable for my patient because the heart cannot comprehend. The heart cannot withstand the strength of this drug. Do you know that? Personally, I'm a tuberculosis expert presently. That's why I'm not giving injection, I give only tablets. There are times where somebody is coming with heart failure, physicians see the person coughing, especially CHF. They just cough and then they feel like, Nosima, commence anti-coughs. This patient is having tuberculosis. But as a nurse, as a qualified, registered, and licensed nurse, who has studied the values of a nurse, and I have studied it using the love letter that Nurse Adesua wrote for me personally. If she has written it for you, you get your own copy. Let me tell you my own love letter story. What I have studied says I have the leverage, I have autonomy to look at my patient. Since I am the custodian of my patient, see, I've said it with pride. I'm the custodian of my patient. I have the ability to tell the physician, this patient heart cannot withstand rifampicin. So if I commence this medication, in 2 hours I will kill the patient, and then we have done it over and over, and patients have died. So it is my duty to protect the right and the life of the patient. How will I learn all of these duties? It is after I have studied Dear Nurse. Finally, you are royalty. Know that you are part of the success story of every sick patient. If a patient should recover from an illness, who made it possible? Yes. Doctors come and doctors go. Cheers to the nurses in white. Nurses remain 24 hours. Doctors come and doctors go, but who remain? Yes. So if nursing is royalty, what are you? What are you? You are the same. And then I said my idea of the book. You are what you continually do. Personally, I can't misbehave. I can't post my 6-pack. Okay, I think I have that story. I can't post my 6-packs on social media because as a professional nurse, my patients are watching me. All of us want to go abroad, isn't it? We want to japa. Yes. But before you japa, if you know how many nurses licenses has been seized over there, you'll be very surprised. After studying Dear Nurse, I read an article of a nurse in the UK who shouted, Jesus, Jesus, when the baby was convulsing and her license was seized. Why? Because she was not able to fulfill her duties as a what? As a nurse. But she japan, isn't it? After studying Dear Nurse, you're going to see the whole benefits that this package carries. And then it's all in you and in this book. If the nursing profession is noble, it means you are noble. So this book also helps nurses begin to see themselves as phenomenal, successful, empathetic, and impactful. On my WhatsApp status, I don't know, yesterday I was discussing with Nurse Funny that I don't know how I got to meet her. I still cannot remember which of those platforms I was able to meet her. Her husband said something that she's going global, and truly, she's going global. If you browse Dear Nurse on the internet, go to images, the second image you see is her image. Please, a round of applause for her. If you Google Dear Nurse, scroll down to the 5th column, you're going to see her book, Dear Nurse. Is she going global or not? Yes. Now, I am also going global. All the way from Plateau State to Kaduna, is that not global? Yes. We are starting somewhere. So, actually, nursing, I have a lot of students, I have a lot of patients, I have a lot of clients, and these things wouldn't have been possible if I have not come in contact with Nurse Adesua. I was carried away with nursing. See, nursing has the way of consuming your life. I was carried away in nursing. I didn't go to church. I'm a Christian. I didn't go to church for more than 6 months because I was always accepting Sunday morning shifts. Married people will come and tell me, Ima, you never married now. I'm my husband. I will no problem. I will over you. Ima, I will, Mumu, I didn't come back. I was actually a Mumu. But after I conversed with Dr. Desua, I was carried away with nursing. I couldn't further my education. I was not having time with my family. My relationship was doing anyhow. But now it is stronger. All thanks to Dr. Desua. After discussing with her, she willingly, yesterday was the first time we were seeing each other. She willingly sent me a recorded session from the radio station, complete record session, and I listened to the whole thing. She sent me a book, and I read it. Since then, I've been looking forward to the next book she will write. I think there was a competition, or was it something like that, and I won one of the books about cesarean section. And then since then, they love just the shift. So you left one space in between. They love the shift. Somebody is coming in between. Because after studying this love letter, I will not call this a book, I will call it a love letter from Nasa Desua. My life changed completely. Let's go back. They say, let's go back. My reading experience. After reading this book, it helped me a lot in taking some critical decisions. Today, I can boldly tell you I have over 15 certificates I have studied. After contact with Nurse Adesua since last year, I have over 15 certificates. I have advanced in my studies. I have been promoted multiple times within the space of 2 months in my work. This is because I have conversed with the owner of that love letter. If you want to advance, study that love letter, especially this week, and you will understand what is there. According to me, my dear means love. I am expensive. The only time someone will call you dear, have you seen anybody angry and calling you dear? The person doesn't call you dear. But when somebody is happy with you, the person calls you my dear. I learned it from this book. So according to me, I am dear. I am a dear nurse. Finally, thank you. And one of the things you must understand is buying a book from Nurse Adesua gives you an edge over every other nurse who has not studied it. Be you a staff nurse, a student nurse, a want-to-be nurse. You see this, don't play with sand. Anything where you hear don't play with sand, only one person comes to your mind. After I studied branding from Nurse Adesua, I am the only person with this name, don't play with sand. The only place you hear health talk today is under my own platforms. The only place you see, if you go to Telegram, the only place you see something like Nurses Insightful Learning is Nurse Emmanuel. All of these ideas came out from listening to Nurse Adesua. If you want to brand yourself, if you want to build yourself as a nurse, if you want to grow as a nurse, and not remain a mediocre, buy Dear Nurse, and you will truly be a dear nurse. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for the nurse. Let's tell you, I said this was me. I mean, when form they come up again already. Talk with pride. They talk with pride just because it's yours. You need to change profession. What you know what's talking about this doctor, when they go clinic, when they prescribe drugs for us, I don't think that they notice those highlights. And then they feel it down. Because it's something like, now when I come understand, that one when they write give me, say take one before you wake up. I want to take it down. I think that also about Nigerian movie. Hello, people should stop it. How person will they drive? Now only they drive. Before you know what they say now. Don't die. Nobody gives up. You just die. And if you watch when they drive, you're a senator like me. See my senator. But when you get hospital, the only place where you go see blood now for your head, they tie white. You know they see the team again. What you go see now, trousers and white people. How? Nigeria people they kill us. A lot of Harvard plus for Nigeria. I will be trying. We are coming up. Okay, the next one, and the next on our list, the book review here, is The Mega Woman. Turn to your neighbor and say The Mega Woman. Okay, Nurse Goodness Perfume will be taking us on The Mega Woman. A round of applause as she steps forward, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you hungry? Yes. Don't worry, babe, I just said you're just sharing. You make that one. I want to especially congratulate everyone who has made it for this book launch. It is not just a book launch, it's a destiny launch, as far as I'm concerned, okay? So let me quickly share a very striking testimony and thank God who has made it possible for us to have this book launch today and to tell you that it's by divine providence that we are here. So I am currently I'm undergoing my exams in National Open University of Nigeria, and I was to write an exam today. From the timetable, I was scheduled to write an exam by 11 o'clock today, and I sent her my timetable while we were planning, and I told her that I will not look at my itinerary, look at my timetable, and so that you know how to fix the book launch. And unfortunately, she fixed the book launch today, and I had an exam today, and she was in my timetable. I said to that person, doesn't want me to come. Sha, I wish you well. I'll be with you in the spirit while I'm in the exam hall. I think 3 days later, the timetable was changed, and it was shifted. The exam I was writing today, I wrote it on Thursday last week. And I was writing another exam tomorrow. I was supposed to write an exam tomorrow. I said, no, I can't come for this book launch. It's not possible. I cannot be reading Mega Woman. That book is too mega, it's too big. And I'll now be reading for exam tomorrow. It's not going to be possible. And I told myself I would just send an apology to her. I can't come. Please, I'm very sorry. Coincidentally, I think 2 days ago or thereabouts, the timetable was also changed. Just 2 courses. Because I was right tomorrow and another course was shifted. A round of applause, please. It's a testimony. And I realized that God wants me to be here. And when I look around, I see there are more women here than men. So I think this book, Mega Woman, is very, very important. And thank God that I'm a woman and I'm a Mega Woman. You know, I was reading for my exam, and to be honest, I wasn't understanding what I was reading. And the Holy Spirit kept saying, read Mega Woman, read Mega Woman, read Mega Woman. I said, no, I cannot read Mega Woman. I have an exam. I have a distinction student. I want to get A1 in this course. Read Mega Woman. After much deliberation, I said, okay, let me pick Mega Woman and read. Men and brethren, my brain opened. If you are struggling to read any book, just pick Mega Woman as a woman. And by the time you need to read the Mega Woman, you will discover yourself. You will discover yourself. So in chapter 1, I couldn't prepare my slide. I didn't know there was going to be a projector. Sorry about that. Chapter 1 of Mega Woman talks about the girl child. the upbringing of the girl child. Not Adeswaoni is the only female among 5 boys. Yes. And I'm also the only female among 2 boys. So there's kind of a coincidence. Yes, we have something in common. And to be honest, it is not easy growing up as an only female. In this African society where a lot of house chores, a lot of domestic activities is left for the girl child, and then the boy child somehow is left out. There's so much emphasis on raise the girl child, train her, training and training and training and training, and the boy is left alone. Now, who is this book for? The book is for every woman. Young, old, tall, short, fair, like me, dark like also me. So this is for every woman. If you're struggling with identity crisis, if you have identity crisis, you're struggling to identify yourself. Being a woman in Africa is difficult. I will be honest with you. A lot of expectations from the woman, so much expectations, and you are just one person. You go out with your husband, and when you come back, it is expected that you will provide food. It's expectation. You are pregnant and you are working. There's so much that lies on the shoulders of a woman. Yes, it is so much. And to be honest, if you get carried away with the stress, with the biological roles of a woman, you will not be able to fulfill your destiny in life. You will not be able to fulfill your purpose. There is so much. In fact, there was a picture that clearly depicts the place of a man and a woman, a man versus a woman. It was a picture where a man was on the line to run for a race and a woman was on the same line. And in front of the woman, there was the kitchen, there was the washing machine, there was baby and all that, in front of the woman. And the man was nothing in front of him. And both of you are expected to reach that goal. That was what the picture depicted. And this is the truth about a woman. If you want to be a successful woman, you need to read this book. MEGAWOMAN provides solutions and tells you how to defy all odds and surmount the limitations of womanhood. To be honest, there was a time I was angry that I was a woman. Yes. Because I asked myself, this is not fair. You have so much on you. And you are still expected to deliver. How? You have a family, breakfast, lunch, dinner is on you. Now, aside the fact that you have to prepare breakfast, you have children. If the child misbehaves, they'll say, the mother did not treat this child well. It is the woman. You have a husband. If the husband misbehaves, they'll say, it's like the wife is giving him problem. And you are a nurse. I am a nurse. Nursing is not easy. I worked in emergency unit for a long while and I know what it's like. And when you come back from home, you still have other duties and responsibilities, obligations to fulfill, and you have to fulfill them to be a MEGAWOMAN. A MEGAWOMAN is an all-round success. Physically, spiritually, financially, mentally, and in other areas. This book is about Nurse Oni's mother. She said a lot about her mother and her earthly accomplishments before she went to be with the Lord. May her soul rest in peace. I felt so emotional reading the book. In fact, I couldn't sleep that night when I started reading the book. I had to read and digest and read. At some point, I felt like crying. Women will not suffer sharp. We have a lot to do, and we will do it by the grace of God. Now, very importantly, you cannot achieve all of these as a MEGAWOMAN without the help of God. So much has to do with God. So much. In fact, our entire lives, both as men and women, has to do with God. But as a woman, very importantly, you need God to raise children, to cope with the stress of work, and still fulfill your domestic obligations. You need God. lessons I learned from MEGAWOMAN, number one is be prayerful. I don't know if I'm prayerful enough, but I think I need to put in more fire in my prayer life. Prayer opens up opportunities. Prayer takes you from the realm where you are to the realm where you need to be, where you need to operate, where you need to fulfill purpose, where you need to fulfill destiny. Now, I remember something my mom did. I wanted to study medicine, and I wrote JAM for medicine. And my mom told me, as a woman, I've not forgotten that word, and I hated it. As a woman, study nursing, because it gives you more time, it gives you more this, it gives you more that. Well, she must have seen it from my own perspective, but I don't buy that. You can be anything you want to be as a woman. There should be no limitation to what you can be as a woman. So number one lesson I learned from MEGAWOMAN is to be prayerful. Secondly, to be a MEGAWOMAN, you need to live a life of impact. What are you impacting? Who are you impacting? What difference are you making in the lives of people? How old are you now? Very soon you will retire from active service. Even if you are a student, very soon, just look at a dream. I graduated in 2016, and this is how many years. I ask myself every day, what have I achieved? What? A life of impact. Touching lives from all walks of life. You touch people not only in the nursing sector, but in every other sector of Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. Not only mother was working with the police, I think. She was working with the police, and she was the secretary to some top officials. And I asked myself, this woman, she tried, because me, to be honest, I don't know if I can do all of that. She would go for evangelism. She took care of people in her house, even the ones I have in my house. It's not easy, because I am a woman currently married and with children, and I know what it's like. So for her to have achieved all that, I know it was not ordinary. There was some supernatural backup for her to be able to accomplish all of that. And raise 6 children. That's very, very special. Another lesson I learned is the impact of quality education on the life of a woman. If I am a woman and I don't have a PhD, I cannot be a professor. There are heights I cannot get to. There are levels you cannot reach without quality education. There are offices you cannot walk into without a certain qualification. And there are impacts you cannot make without a good education. So as a woman, read. During our graduation, our lecturer told us something. He said, the only advice I have for you is read. 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 Dear woman, MEGAWOMAN, read. Don't get tired of reading. Read until you have read. Am I communicating? Education takes a woman from where she is to where she's supposed to be. There are certain, during the INEC, during the election, I told myself something. What if I'm qualified to, be the head of some polling units? There are some impacts I would have played as a woman. But if you do not have those qualifications, no matter how good your intentions are, you are limited. You are relegated to the background. Another lesson I learned from MEGAWOMAN is the ability to stretch, to multitask. It is not easy, but it is possible. If you pick MEGAWOMAN and you just take 1 hour, you can finish the book in 24 hours. When you read it, you will know that you can stretch beyond where you are. You can leave your comfort zone and do the impossible. Don't be comfortable sitting down in your comfort zone and telling yourself, I'm a woman. This year you are giving birth. Next year, children. In fact, I think this nursing actually hated the profession because it was a female-dominated profession. And women have so many excuses to give. We have so many. In fact, if I sit down today and I want to give excuses for why I am not useful, for why I am not making impact, I will give you 10 excuses. While I was pregnant, I was going to school. I did my post-basic. I gave birth. In fact, When I had my first child, I went for the exam 1 week after and I passed. My name was number 1 on the list. Making impact has nothing to do with whether you're a woman or not. If you are determined, if you are focused, you will surmount the challenges. It is possible. Now, very importantly, if you want to multitask as a woman, when I was a single lady, I sat down to study what marriage is like. What is expected of me as a woman. I think if you're single here or if you're also married, you should sit down and ask yourself, what is the expectation? What is expected of me as a woman? When you get married, you still have a job. So it is an extra responsibility. Your job plus marriage. Now there are things you need to have in your house to make things easy for you. You can have your washing machine. You can have your deep freezer too. I'm going to be very practical here because this is the truth about life as a woman. And to be a mega woman, you need to understand the implications of being a woman. Am I communicating? Yes. You need to have some gadgets at home. When I was single and I watched my female colleagues, I was not happy with them. I'm a very honest person. I was not happy with them. Somebody will close from night duty. I worked somewhere in Abuja, run 2 shifts in a day, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. And you see somebody after 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. is the best way to enter market. No, it's not funny. I was very angry with them. And they, after, when you enter the market, you now come back and start cooking. And after cooking, you will come to work exhausted. There are times when you cannot avoid it, but please, by all means, plan your life. To be able to multitask and do a lot of things at a time as a woman, you need to have proper planning. When you are off, that's what I do. I cook in bulk. Do you get? Cook variety if you have this time. And you need to know how to cook as well. These are basic things you need to know. While you are off duty, I'm talking to nurses, so I'm going to be using that to illustrate. Cook in bulk. You have your stew, egusi, ogbono, vegetable. You have food that can last you during your duty. It's not that you close from night duty when you are supposed to rest and you're rushing to the market. You cannot impact your generation that way. You need to rest. You need rest. Women, we need rest. We work so hard. We work so hard, too hard in fact. And we create zero time for ourselves. Take time to rest by planning your life properly. And when you overwork yourself, your output at work is zero. You come to work, most of them come to work, then when I was single, they come to work exhausted. I just came back from market, I did not rest, I just finished cooking, and the food is not done, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that you're a woman, it shouldn't stop you from doing what you are supposed to do. Plan your life properly. Amen? Another lesson I learned is making the right choice of a life partner. This is very, very important. I'm going to say this. I know this is not a relationship class, but this is a bitter truth. As a woman, you will go far. Look at Mosoli's husband supporting her. There are men that will miss their wives. Hallelujah. There are men that will miss their wives. I have seen so many of them. And that's one thing I looked for in a man. Are you going to be my number 1 fan? I'm going far in life. Would you be a support or a stumbling block? Now, as a lady, you are in a relationship with a man, and you tell him, my goal in life is to get to PhD, and he's like, are you the only one that wants to read the book? Run. I'm telling you to run, except you don't want to make impact in life. You need a support system. You need a very, very strong support system to make impact.